The graph of a quadratic equation is called a parabola. A parabola is a U-shaped curve. In this video, we will look at 3 examples that involve graphs of parabolas. Any basic quadratic equation can be written in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. The graph of a quadratic function is called a parabola and has a U-shaped curve that opens upwards when the value of a is greater than 0 and opens downwards when the value of a is less than 0. The turning point of the parabola is called the vertex. The vertex is either the highest point on the parabola or the lowest point on the parabola. The x value of the vertex can be found using the formula x equals the opposite of b divided by 2a. Example 1. Graph y equals to negative 2x squared plus 8x minus 3. This is a quadratic function, so the graph will be a U-shaped graph. Since the coefficient of x squared is negative, the parabola will open downward. We will graph this equation by plotting points. Let's start with finding the vertex. The x value of the vertex can be found using the equation x equals to the opposite of b divided by 2a. For our equation, a equals negative 2 and b equals 8. So x equals to the opposite of b divided by 2a will equal to negative 8 divided by 2 times negative 2, which equals negative 8 divided by negative 4, which equals 2. The x value of the vertex is 2. To get a nice U-shaped curve, select 2 values less than 2 and 2 values greater than 2. Of course, we also want to choose x equals 2 since that will give us the vertex. Complete the table of values to get the following points: 0, negative 3, 1, 3. The vertex was 2, 5. And then we have 3, 3, and 4, negative 3. Draw the graph using a solid line. In our second example, we'll look at an application. A gun is fired from the top of a building 200 feet above the ground, and the height h of the bullet is defined by the following function, where x is the horizontal distance from the base of the building. H of x equals to negative 0.005 x squared plus 1.5x plus 200. Find the maximum height reached by the bullet. The maximum value of a quadratic function occurs at the vertex. The x value of the vertex can be found using the equation x equal to the opposite of b divided by 2a. In this case, a equals to negative 0.005 and b equals to 1.5. So x equals negative 1.5 divided by 2 times negative 0.005, which equals to negative 1.5 divided by negative 0.01, which equals to 150. X represents the horizontal distance from the building. The bullet reaches its maximum height at 150 feet from the building. To get the maximum height of the bullet, we need to evaluate h of 150. Substitute x equals 150 into the quadratic function to get h of 150 equals negative 0.005 times 150 raised to the second power plus 1.5 times 150 plus 200. 150 raised to the second power, or 150 squared, is 22,500, and 1.5 times 150 is 225. So negative 0.005 times 22,500 is negative 112.5, and 225 plus 200 is 425. Negative 112.5 plus 425 will give us 312.5. The bullet reaches a maximum height of 312.5 feet. Let's also find the following. How far away from the base of the building will the bullet strike the ground? When the bullet strikes the ground, the value of h will be 0. The bullet is 0 feet above the ground. Set h equals 0 and solve for x. We might be able to solve this equation by factoring. However, the decimal numbers may make factoring difficult. The quadratic formula will make the work a bit easier. X equals to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. If we substitute negative 0.005 for a, 1.5 for b, and 200 for c, we'll get negative 1.5 plus or minus the square root of 1.5 squared minus 4 times negative 0.005 times 200, all divided by 2 times negative 0.005. Simplifying, 1.5 squared equals a 2.25. Negative 4 times negative 0.005 times 200 equals 4. And 2 times negative 0.005 equals to negative 0.01. 2.25 plus 4 is 6.25. The square root of 6.25 is 2.5. Break this up into two solutions. X equals negative 1.5 plus 2.5 divided by negative 0.01, and x equals negative 1.5 minus 2.5 divided by negative 0.01. The first solution will give a negative answer, since negative 1.5 plus 2.5 is 1, and 1 divided by negative 0.01 is negative. This answer should be discarded, since it is not likely that a bullet will travel backwards. Negative 1.5 subtracting 2.5 equals to negative 4.0, and negative 4.0 divided by negative 0.01 equals 400. The bullet would hit the ground 400 feet from the base of the building. You should look over the examples on the web page and then test your knowledge using Test Yourself.